Hello and welcome to another welcome to another video on vectors, I should say. Okay, in this video we are going to do a bit more work with arithmetic and vectors, so adding and subtracting vectors and a few problem solving questions. So as always, whenever I go through some questions, I encourage you to pause the video, so please have a go at these questions first and then I will go through them after. Okay, so over here it says the vectors A and B are shown on the grid, which we can see here. On the grid, draw the vector negative 2a. Well, this is the vector A. Now, if we were to draw the vector 2a, we would know it would go in exactly the same direction. It would just be twice the magnitude, so it would extend the line twice as far. But because it's negative 2, it's going to go in the opposite direction. So we're going to draw a vector that goes in the opposite direction to A and that is twice as long. So remember, with vectors, the position doesn't matter, so I could do it anywhere really. Let's do it up here. So we can see we're going, for every 2 squares we go across, we're going down 1. So we're going to go across 2, down 1, but we're making that twice as big. So we're going to go across another 2. Oh, we go across another 2. And down 1. So that will be our line, but remember we are going in the opposite direction, so our arrow is going to be in that direction. So that is the vector negative 2a. Okay, let's look at question B. On the grid, draw the vector a plus b. So if we think back to one of my previous videos, when we add together vectors, we connect their arrows. So this is our vector A, so we're starting here and we're finishing here. So with our vector B, we need to add this on to where we finished off with vector A. Okay, so if I get my line tool out again. So this vector here, we're just going to attach it here and we're going to go up 3 units. Okay, and we're going to go in the same direction as vector B. So it's in this direction. So this is vector A and we're adding on vector B. So our new vector, vector A plus B, we need to connect these 2 points here. So if I get let's do this in a slightly different color. Well, I'll draw the line in first and then I'll make it a different color. Let's say this is blue. Okay, let's make it a bit thicker. So this is the vector A plus B. And now the last question, work out 3a plus 4b as a column vector. So first of all, let's write down what a and b are as column vectors. So a is, first of all, we do the horizontal component. So we're going along 2 and then we are going down 1. So that's negative 1. So that is what a is as a column vector. Now let's do b. So B, we're not going left or right, so our horizontal component is 0. Our vertical component, we're going up 3, so it is 0, 3. So now let's work out what 3a plus 4b is. So 3a will be 3 times our vector A, so 3 times vector A, and then we're going to add on 4 lots of vector B, so 4 lots of vector B. So let's work out what this is. So what is 3 lots of this vector? Well, when we multiply a vector by a scalar, we multiply each of the components by that scalar. So it would be 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So this is 3a, and now we need to evaluate what 4b is. So 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. And now we have 3a and 4b, we just need to add these 2 vectors together. So our resulting vector will be 6 plus 0, which is 6, and then negative 3 plus 12, which is 9. So this here is our final answer. And now we've just got a couple of problem solving questions to have a go at. So we have 2 vectors, a and b, and it says given that vector a plus vector b is this column vector, work out the values of p and q. So we need to work out these 2 missing values. So we know that when we add these 2 vectors together, we get this. So let's write that out. So we've got negative 5p and then plus vector b, which is q1, and our answer is 1, negative 7. So we know that when we add the corresponding components, we get our resultant component here. So we know that negative 5 plus q equals 1. So let's write that down. We've got negative 5 plus q equals 1. So to work out what q is, we can just add 5 to both sides. So we get that q is equal to 6. And we can check that. Negative 5 plus 6 does give us 1. So that is our horizontal component for vector b. Now let's work out what the vertical component for vector a is, p. So we can just use the second line. So we can say that p plus 1 is equal to negative 7. Therefore, if we subtract 1 from both sides, we get p is equal to negative 8. So we have found our values of p and q. Okay, let's go on to the second part now. So we have two vectors, c and d. And it says, given that 4 lots of vector d minus vector c is equal to this column vector, work out the values of p and q. So let's write this down. We've got 4 lots of vector d. So let's write this down. 4 lots of vector d. And we are going to subtract vector c. So vector c is negative 3q. And we know our answer is this vector here. So 1, negative 7. So first of all, let's just evaluate this. So if we have 4 lots of this vector, we're just going to multiply each of these components by 4. So that's going to give us 4p for our horizontal component. And our vertical component will be 8. It's just 4 times 2. And then subtract. I'm just going to write down all of this. And now if we just focus on the top row, we're going to have 4p. Let's do it up here. We're going to have 4p. Subtract negative 3, well that's the same as 4p plus 3, and that is going to equal 1. So now we want to get p on its own, so if we subtract 3 from both sides, we get 4p is equal to negative 2. Therefore p is equal to negative 2 over 4, which is the same as negative a half. So we've got our value for p. Now let's work out what q is. So we're going to look at the bottom row now. So we're going to have 8 subtract q, and that equals negative 7. And now if we add q to both sides, so we put it on this side, so it's positive, we'll be left with 8 is equal to negative 7 plus q. And now to get rid of this negative 7, if we add 7 to both sides, we get 15 is equal to q. So p equals negative a half and q equals 15. So we're going to leave it there for this particular video. In the next video, we're going to move on to some GCSE style content with vectors, and we're going to look at some vector geometry. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I will see you in the next video. Take care.